Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Welcome to our Saturday dinner here at our multi-district conference. As you can clearly see, I am not Mike Barnett. My name is Sarah Channing, and I am president-elect of the Rotary Club of Warwick, Rhode Island. Thank you. I hope that you all agree with me that it's been an extremely powerful and thought-provoking conference, and I'm so excited to share everything that I learned with my club when I go back home. Since I'm up here, I'd like to take a moment and share a little bit about how and why I personally became a Rotarian. I was raised in Newport, Rhode Island, and had a rather idyllic childhood. My parents, Todd and Dana Allen, did not allow my brother Eric and I to watch television. Very much, I should say. So I grew up reading the works of Dickens, Austen, and the Bronte sisters. When I started looking at colleges, I wanted to major in British literature in the 1800s. Yeah, exactly. My father, who at the time was vice president of Charlton Memorial Hospital in Fall River, Massachusetts, he had more practical notions. He convinced, or by convinced I mean bribed, me to instead study hotel administration in exchange for a semester in France, if I went through the program. He knew I always wanted to explore different cultures, countries, and cuisines. Of course I agreed. Listening to the exchange students today brought back many fond memories that I had in Grenoble, France, where I had the opportunity to visit 13 countries. It's an amazing experience, and it set the stage for my future career. When I graduated from University of New Hampshire, I went on to earn my MBA, and I figured I fully satisfied my dad's goals for me. So I took 4 years off and I studied opera to sing opera professionally in Hawaii. Boy, was I glad that my dad had me in business administration when I ran out of money singing opera. So my love of exploration never burned out. I lived in Seattle, San Diego, Honolulu, and Washington, D.C. I aligned myself with nonprofits where I could promote human rights, and in so doing, do my part to help make the world a better place. Now, what I'm about to share with you, Steve Sturden knew none of this when he asked me to speak tonight. So here's some of my adventures. In the past, with my nonprofit experience, helping to host, these are some of my favorite adventures, helping to host and participating in international conferences for parliamentarians in Italy, South Korea, and around the US. Having high tea with Lord David Alton in the House of Lords in London. Bringing delegations to Morocco to hear the stories of refugees who had fled the camps of Algeria. Participating in private, very small meetings with President Gurma of Ethiopia and President Zuma of South Africa. Throughout all of these adventures, I deeply missed the rocky shores of New England. When I turned 40, I knew in my bones it was time to come home. I could not find a job in Newport where I grew up. Could not find a job. For those of you who are familiar with Rhode Island, if you grew up on Aquinic Island, you don't leave. You only leave to go to Rocky Point Amusement Park or to go prom dress shopping. So I had no experience with that side of Rhode Island, and I ended up working in Warwick. I didn't know a soul. I didn't have any friends. I wanted friends with the same global mindset that I had. That's where you come into my story. When I was introduced to the Warwick Rotary Club, I knew I had finally found my people. Our club is vibrant and filled with dedicated professionals who are committed to making a difference. We've recently become the largest club in Rhode Island, and we were the only club in the district to achieve the presidential citation last year. We work hard, and we play harder, I can assure you. I was honored when they asked me to consider going through the chairs, and in just 3 years, I now stand before you as the incoming president of our club. While this is a sincere honor, it shouldn't have happened in such a short time span, I don't think. We should have a long waiting list of individuals who are eager to go through the chairs. But like other clubs, our members are mostly older. They have paid their dues and they've done their service. We need younger, eager members who have the time, energy, and initiative to serve as president. Too many people I encounter when I talk about Rotary respond with, well, what's Rotary? Prestige alone is no longer enough of a reason for people to join the club. We have to educate our communities and young adults on what we are, what we stand for, and where we are going. I ask you this, when a potential candidate walks through the door, how are they treated? How your members interact with them is the first and only impression they will have of your club. Do they feel welcome? Do they feel engaged? Are they given a colorful brochure showcasing your club's initiatives? Are you utilizing all of the recruiting and branding tools available on Rotary International's website? Do you have a dynamic, interesting speaker program that relates to current issues? This weekend we were introduced to important facts and heard compelling stories about the opioid crisis, human trafficking, and the threat and potential impact of nuclear bombs situated in the global north. Are you taking this information back to your clubs so you can join forces and do what all of us can to resolve these issues? As we celebrate 30 years of Women in Rotary, does your club offer a welcoming atmosphere to women? Do your female members feel respected, encouraged, and empowered? I learned in the sexual harassment in Rotary session that Rotary International doesn't have a policy in place about this critical issue. It's a sensitive issue, and one we need to start talking about. And by we, I mean men and women. I call upon you, men, to question whether or not your comments and jokes are appropriate before you say them out loud. Ask yourself before you speak, does what I am about to say pass the four-way test? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it make my colleague feel empowered or uncomfortable? And to my fellow females, we aren't off the hook. We need to start communicating when a comment makes us feel uncomfortable. We have to start speaking up because we must move forward together if we want Rotary to thrive. This is a tremendous organization that is doing unbelievable work in both our own backyards and around the world. I learned something new every single day about the impact my fellow Rotarians are making. I am so proud to be a Rotarian. Being a member has not only made me a better person, it's made me a leader. Steve Serta called me 4 weeks ago and asked me to serve as Master of Ceremonies for tonight's event. A year ago, I would have respectfully declined. I wouldn't have had the courage to stand up here and stand before you. But after having been given more and more responsibility at my club, from handling the attendance as secretary to bringing in dynamic speakers as president-elect, from serving on the board of directors and leading meetings when my president is out of town, and all of the wonderful, wonderful things I've learned at Rotary's Leadership Institute, I am now confident, I am strong, and I am empowered. You gave me my voice, Rotarians, and I plan to use it well. Thank you. And now, on with the program. Next on the agenda, I am introducing Plymouth Selectman of Rotary Club of Plymouth Sunrise, Anthony Provenzano. Please join me.